Level 1. The shortcut. You are 17 years old, standing beneath the white lights of your high school locker room. Your backpack is open on the bench. A chemistry book lies beneath a wrinkled work uniform. Your phone shows missed calls, a message from your manager, and a reminder that your final exam begins in 14 hours. You have barely slept in 2 days. A classmate named Owen watches you rub your eyes. He reaches into his pocket and places a small tablet in your palm. He says it will help you focus. You ask whether it is safe. He shrugs and says half the school uses them. That answer should sound ridiculous. Tonight, it sounds like evidence. You swallow it with warm water from the drinking fountain. 40 minutes later, the exhaustion disappears. Your thoughts line up. The textbook finally makes sense. You finish 2 chapters, clean your room at midnight, and answer every message you have ignored all week. At breakfast, your mother looks surprised. "You seem better," she says. That is the first dangerous lesson. The beginning of addiction can look exactly like improvement. You pass the exam, finish your grocery store shift without yawning, and finally speak confidently to Maya, the girl beside you in history class. You feel in control. So when Owen offers another pill before the next exam, you do not ask if it is safe. You ask how much. At first, you use only for school, then school and work, then before parties because you like the version of yourself who never runs out of words. By summer, you keep one hidden inside an empty mint container in your bedroom desk. You call it an emergency supply. Your definition of emergency is already changing. A long shift becomes an emergency. A difficult conversation becomes an emergency. A quiet Saturday when you feel nothing special becomes the biggest emergency of all. Your life has not collapsed. You still come home, laugh at dinner, and ride your old blue bicycle to work. But small things begin disappearing. You stop drawing in the sketchbook your younger brother Adam gave you. You miss his football match because you have not slept. You snap at your mother when she asks why your pupils look strange. Then you apologize so sincerely that she apologizes too. By graduation, the mint container is never empty. You have learned how to look normal while planning your entire day around feeling different. Level 2. The routine. At 19, you attend community college during the day and load delivery trucks at night. The warehouse is a giant metal box filled with alarms, conveyor belts, and fluorescent light. Every minute is measured. Every mistake is logged. The pills make you fast. Your supervisor praises your numbers, so you take more to remain the employee everyone now expects. After work, your body is exhausted, but your mind refuses to stop. You add something else to sleep. Now, one drug starts the day and another ends it. You call this balance. Your bank account calls it something different. Tuition is late. Your phone bill bounces. You borrow 40 euros from Maya, now your girlfriend, and repay her with a dinner placed on a credit card. She sees generosity. You see a successful cover story. That is how the double life grows. Not through one enormous lie, but through dozens of small explanations that sound reasonable when heard alone. You say the warehouse changed your schedule. You say school is stressful. You say you lost weight because you have been busy. Each sentence contains enough truth to survive inspection. Then Owen stops answering messages. You hear that he was arrested after crashing a borrowed car. For 3 days, you are frightened. On the 4th, you buy from someone else. The new seller meets you beside a self-service car wash. The price is higher, and the tablets look slightly different. You notice both things and still hand over the money. Addiction has not taken your intelligence. It has simply promoted one need above every conclusion your intelligence can produce. Level 3. The counterfeit. At 20, the pills no longer create energy. They create normal. Without them, your muscles ache, your stomach turns, and every sound feels personal. You wake with panic that has no story attached to it. With them, you can shower, answer Maya, and stand beneath the warehouse lights without feeling as if your skin is too small. Then the supply changes. The seller says the old pills are gone, but these are the same thing. They are not. Counterfeit pills can contain substances you never agreed to take, in amounts you cannot see. The tablet has a clean edge and familiar color. Its appearance tells you nothing. The first one hits harder than expected. You sit on the warehouse bathroom floor until the room stops moving. When you return, you blame food poisoning. Your supervisor studies your face, then writes something on a clipboard. A week later, you damage a pallet of televisions with a forklift. Nobody is hurt, and that becomes your entire defense. The company asks for a drug test. You refuse and walk outside claiming you quit. The termination email arrives before you reach the bus stop. Now the habit that helped you work has removed the job that paid for it. Using Maya's laptop in a cafe, you promise yourself you will find work by Friday, reduce what you take, and stop after the weekend. Friday passes, then another. Rent turns into warning letters taped inside the building entrance. You sell your gaming console, your headphones, and the bicycle you have ridden since you were 14. A delivery driver pays €60 for it. You watch him wheel it down the pavement, the front brakes still squeaking because you never fixed it. For the first time, you understand that addiction does not only consume money, it converts memories into temporary relief. Level 4. The Disappearing Act. Maya leaves in November. She does not discover a dramatic secret. She discovers hundreds of ordinary ones. Cash withdrawals, messages deleted at strange hours, a second phone charger in your backpack for a phone you claim not to own. She places everything on the kitchen table like evidence in a case she never wanted to build. You promise treatment, honesty, and tomorrow. She asks you to make one phone call while she watches. You cannot do it. That is the moment she understands the drug is no longer competing with her. It is making decisions for you. After she leaves, you move into your mother's apartment. Your old room is now Adam's study space. His school certificates are pinned above the desk where the mint container used to hide. Your mother gives you the sofa and 3 conditions: no drugs inside, no strangers, and 1 appointment with a doctor. You agree before she finishes speaking. For 6 days, you mean it. On the 7th, withdrawal begins before sunrise. You pace the living room while your mother sleeps behind a closed door. The television is muted. Rain taps against the balcony glass. At 6:20, you take money from the envelope marked electricity. You leave a note saying you went for coffee. When you return that evening, Adam is sitting on the stairs. The lights in the apartment are off. He does not shout. He only asks whether the power will come back tonight. You cannot look at him. Your mother tells you to leave the next morning. She places your clothes in 2 supermarket bags. Her hands shake as she ties them. Outside, you tell yourself she abandoned you. Deep inside, beneath the anger, you know she is protecting the child who still lives there. For the next 5 months, you become difficult to locate. A friend's floor, a night bus, a cheap hostel, a hospital waiting room until dawn. Your world shrinks to warm places, people who ask no questions, and the next few hours. You stop opening messages because every name carries an older version of you. Then Adam sends a photograph. It shows the empty wall above his desk. Your old sketches have been removed. Under the photograph, he writes, "Tell me when you are my brother again." You stare at the message until the phone dies. Level 5, the sirens. The crisis happens inside a 24-hour laundromat. It is 2:10 in the morning. Machines turn behind rows of plastic chairs. A cleaner is mopping near the door while you sit in the restroom, believing you know what you took. You do not. Minutes later, the cleaner hears you fall. She calls emergency services and uses naloxone from a cabinet near the vending machines. Paramedics arrive, continue treatment, and carry you beneath the red reflection of the ambulance lights. You wake angry. That surprises everyone except the paramedic. He tells you that withdrawal can begin suddenly after reversal. He also tells you that without the cleaner and the naloxone, you would probably be dead. You ask for your backpack. He asks if there is anyone he can call. You think of Maya, your mother, Adam. Every answer feels like a door you personally sealed. So you say no. At the hospital, a doctor explains that counterfeit pills and reduced tolerance greatly increase overdose risk. She places a treatment referral beside your discharge papers. You fold it into your pocket and leave. For 2 days, nothing changes. This is the part people misunderstand. Surviving does not automatically create recovery. Fear can be powerful, but addiction is patient. On the 3rd morning, you see a local news photograph on a television in a bakery. Owen's face appears beneath a headline. He has died from an overdose at 21. The cashier changes the channel before you finish reading. You stand there holding a coffee you cannot drink. Owen was the first person to place a pill in your hand, but he is not responsible for every pill after it. For years, blaming him gave you a story with a villain. Now, the villain is dead, and the problem is still breathing through your body. You take the referral from your pocket. The paper is creased, stained, and still readable. You walk to the clinic before you can negotiate with yourself again. Level 6. The first honest day treatment begins with questions. What have you taken? How often? When was the last time? Where are you sleeping? You answer the first question vaguely. The nurse waits. You try again. The second answer is closer. By the fourth question, you are crying so hard that the words come out in pieces. The clinic arranges medically supervised withdrawal care, medication treatment, counseling, overdose prevention, and longer-term support. There is no single magic door. You must keep choosing the next one. The first week is ugly. You sweat through clean sheets and become furious at a clock for moving too slowly. You promise yourself that one final use would make treatment easier, which is how addiction speaks when it is losing access to you. A counselor named Mr. Reed gives you a blank sketchbook. You almost laugh. He says you do not have to draw anything important. You only have to keep your hands busy during the evening. On the first page, you draw the laundromat restroom. On the second, the dark apartment after the electricity was cut. On the third, Adam sitting on the stairs. You tear that page out. The next morning, you tape it back together. 37 days after entering treatment, your mother visits. She sits across from you in a small family room with a box of tissues between you. You give her a speech you have practiced. She stops you halfway. I don't need a speech, she says. I need to know what you are doing tomorrow. So you tell her. Breakfast, group therapy, a meeting with the employment advisor. One truthful day cannot repair years of damage, but it is large enough to stand on. Level 7, the rebuild. At 22, you enter a recovery residence above a bicycle repair cooperative. The room is narrow, the mattress firm, and the window faces a brick wall. You have never been so grateful for an address. Downstairs, the workshop smells of rubber, metal, and chain oil. Donated bicycles hang from ceiling hooks. Some need new cables, some need wheels. Some have been left outside so long that every moving part has forgotten how to move. Your first job is cleaning them, then sorting tools, then repairing brakes under the supervision of a mechanic named Rosa, who has no interest in your excuses and complete confidence in your ability to learn. The work is slow, which is why it helps. A bicycle cannot be repaired through promises. The wheel is aligned or it is not. The brake holds or it does not. For the first time in years, reality feels kind. You earn modest wages, open a bank account, and begin paying old debts. You buy your mother groceries without announcing the price. You send Maya a short apology with no request attached. 3 weeks later, she replies, I hope you keep going. You do. Adam refuses to visit for 4 months. When he finally enters the workshop, he is 17, almost the age you were when everything began. He walks past you and stops beside a blue bicycle waiting for repair. It is not your old bicycle. It only looks like it from a distance. He squeezes the broken brake lever. You would have sold this one too, he says. Yes, you answer. The honesty lands harder than any defense could. The two of you repair the brake together. He does not call you his brother that day. But before leaving, he asks what time the workshop opens on Saturday. Trust does not return like a light switching on. It returns like a wheel being straightened, one careful adjustment at a time. Level 8, the second gear. 10 years later, the bicycle cooperative occupies an entire former bus depot. A painted sign above the entrance reads, Second Gear. Inside, one side repairs bicycles for the neighborhood. The other trains people leaving treatment, prison, shelters, and unstable housing. You do not describe them as broken. Broken is a word for objects. People are alive, which means they can still choose a direction. Rosa runs the workshop floor. Adam manages youth programs after finishing his degree in social work. Your mother handles the garden outside, although nobody officially hired her, and nobody is brave enough to tell her she cannot. On the wall of your office are 8 framed sketchbook pages. The locker room, the warehouse bathroom, the bus stop after you lost your job, the dark apartment, the laundromat, the treatment center, the first bicycle you repaired, the open workshop on its first morning. You kept drawing long after craving stopped controlling every hour, not because the past became beautiful, but because forgetting its shape would make it dangerous again. The center keeps naloxone in marked cabinets, and every employee receives overdose response training. You have watched it save lives and attended funerals when help came too late. Recovery did not make the world fair. It made you present enough to face it. One rainy afternoon, a counselor brings in a 19-year-old named Karim. He has been discharged from treatment that morning. He stands near the entrance with wet shoes, one plastic bag of clothes, and the expression of someone waiting to be rejected. You show him the workshop. He barely speaks. At the repair stand, a blue bicycle hangs with its front wheel removed. You hand him a clean cloth and ask him to wipe the frame. He says he does not know anything about bicycles. You tell him neither did you. For 20 minutes, he cleans in silence. Then he points to the brake cable and asks what it does. You have learned to respect small questions. Years ago, someone placed a pill in your hand and offered you a shortcut. Today, you place a tool in someone else's hand and offer him work that cannot be rushed. Outside, Adam arrives with teenagers. One boy pushes a bicycle with a squeaking front brake. You recognize it immediately. For a second, you are 17 again, riding beneath streetlights, believing every repair can wait. Then the moment passes. You take the bicycle, turn it upside down, and begin. The wheel spins, it wobbles. You adjust it. It spins again. This time, it runs straight. If you or someone you know is struggling with drug use, speak to a medical professional or a local addiction service. In an overdose emergency, call emergency services immediately. Carrying naloxone where available can save a life. Subscribe for more animated stories that show what life really looks like at every level.